Say hi to everyone. Hey guys, it's Biscuit here. Hey guys, it's Tina here. Welcome back to another episode of Tina Tries It. In today's episode, I'm going to be testing out this DIY nail extension kit. These are their new jelly tips that you can soak off. Inside the starter kit, you get the jelly tips. I got the almond medium shape, and inside the box there's 500 pieces with 10 different sizes. Then at the bottom there's 4 different little bottles. One is for prep, one's for primer, one is a builder gel, and one is a top coat. The kit also comes with a little nail lamp. This is the Flash Cure LED lamp. It's a little USB lamp, and you can pop like one finger in at a time. All up, this starter kit costs $110. And apparently this kit is really easy to use. It's very beginner friendly and your nails can last up to 3 weeks. I've been seeing a lot of reviews on this and lots of videos on Instagram and YouTube, and so I really wanted to try the jelly tip system out. Plus, I've removed my gel polish, my nails are short now, and it feels really weird to have short nails after having long nails for so long. But I shortened them, I removed everything, and I want to test this out. Okay, so inside the kit there's an instruction guide, and it just goes through all these steps. So the first thing we need to do is prep our nail. So you need to start off with clean hand, push back the cuticles and remove any shine from the natural nail with a file. So I'm just gonna quickly wipe over my nails with a little bit of alcohol. And I've already pushed back my cuticles and cleaned up my nail beds. You guys have seen me do it in my previous video. I just use a little cuticle pusher just to remove any of that cuticle on my nail bed and just to clean it up. Now I'm gonna grab the tips and size them up. This is what the tips look like. I got the medium almond shape ones. FYI, these little tips have little numbers so you can see it's really small, but they just indicate what size it is just in case you get confused and mix them up in the box. Now it's the first time I'm using anything like this, but it's a full covered tip, so it covers the whole nail. So basically you want to find a tip that fits perfectly with your nail bed. You want to measure it from side wall to side wall. You don't want it to be bigger or smaller because that's going to cause it to lift. So this one fits perfectly. Let me show you one that doesn't really fit. Here is a good example of one that's way too big. You can see that the side edges here is just overlapping my side wall. So that's gonna be too big. Whereas this one fits perfectly. Now for my pinky finger, the smallest nail tip is slightly bigger than my actual nail bed. So I'm just gonna grab a file and just file the side of this a little bit just to make it a little bit smaller. And now that fits a lot better. So now that I have all my tips laid out for this hand, I'm going to just use a buffer to remove the shine off my nail. I'm just using this buffer from Biosculpture. It has an 80 and 100 grit. Now with the numbers of the buffers and filers, generally the lower the number, the sort of like more rough it is. The higher the number, the more fine the buffer or file is. So I'm just going to use this side, which is the 100 side, and I'm just going to buff that in, focusing around my cuticles. Now the reason why we like buff our nails or remove the shine is to make the gel and product adhere better to our nail, because if it's smooth, it actually won't stick as well. If you have an e-file, you can definitely use that, but I'm just using my little buffer. I know a lot of people that will be watching this would be like, oh my God, buffing your nails will damage it. It's just a part of the process, and if you just do it lightly, it shouldn't do too much harm. Just don't go too rough. Once I'm done de-shining my nails, I'm going to do the same with the tips. I need to roughen up the insides of these tips. For this step, I'm just going to be using my e-file because it's easier. The file fits into the tip really easily. I think you can use a file, but it might be a little bit difficult to use like a hand file depending on the shape of it. So I'm just going to use my e-file. So that's what it looks like once I've roughed up the inside of the tip. Again, roughing it up and making it a little bit like more matte and removing the shine, it will help the tip to stick better. So I'm going to do that with all the other tips. Next up, it's time for me to prep my nail beds. This is the prep solution. So I'm just going to apply one coat of that to my nail bed. This is a dehydrator, which just ensures that it removes any like oil on the surface of our nail. Next, I'm going to apply the primer. Again, primer is designed to help the product adhere better to our natural nail bed. I'm just gonna let that dry down a little bit. And then next I'll go in with the builder gel. Now this gel is super thick, so I'm just gonna use a small amount at a time, and I just wanna paint on a thin layer on each nail. This is my first time using a builder gel that's in a bottle. Then I'm gonna pop it under this little lamp to cure for 30 seconds. I kind of wish this little lamp had a little timer so you can see it count down, because I think if I read correctly, if you press it once, it goes on for a minute, and if you press it twice, it goes on for 45 seconds. So just take note of that. Next, I'm gonna grab my tip for my thumb and then apply the builder gel on the inside of the tip. So this is gonna act as our glue. Next, you wanna just place the tip over your finger and then push down slowly. Okay, this is my first time doing this, so I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but hopefully this will work. I'm gonna grab my lamp and then cure it under there. Ah, this is so tricky. You really need to apply like good pressure here. I'm definitely not good at this. Okay, that was a fail. Let me do that again. Okay, attempt number 2. I think it's because I was trying to get the camera in focus and make sure everything was right. It was just a bit tricky to do all that whilst adding pressure to my nail tip. So hopefully this will work. I really don't want to take it off and do it again. Okay, success. The tip is on. It is pretty secure and intact. I did get a little bit of that gel kind of seep through, so I got to be careful with the amount that I put on. But yeah, not bad for my first attempt. I'm going to do the same with my other nails. Please pray for me because I really don't want to stop this up. I'm not going to lie guys, this is a little bit tricky to do. I think it's like getting the nail under the light and just holding that pressure there. That's the tricky part. But so far, I think I'm going okay. I wouldn't say I'm applying it perfectly, but it's not too bad. The trick is to have the light on before you actually go and press the nail on. That way you don't have to fiddle with the button afterwards. I think my ring finger was the best nail that I've done so far. Nope, I totally spoke too soon. You can see that I applied it on wonky, so I'm gonna have to remove this one and do that again. No, it's like gonna bother me, so I cannot leave it on like this. It's going to annoy me, especially if it's gonna last for 3 weeks. I'm gonna want to rip it off. See guys, even I mess things up, so don't feel bad if you find it a little bit difficult doing your own nails. Let's just check on this removal process. Okay, surprisingly, that was actually really quick and easy to remove. Okay, let's redo that one. So I managed to get all the tips on. There are some little tiny bubbles here and there, but it's not too bad considering it's my first time doing this. Like I mentioned before, it is a little bit fiddly. It's just more the part where you have to add pressure and put it under the lamp. But other than that, it's pretty easy to use. So now what I'm gonna do is just buff off the natural shine of the tip. So just, you can use a file, a buffer, or your e-file for this. I'm just working that buffer in around my cuticles, around the edges to buff and remove any of the excess gel that kind of seeped out. Then I'm gonna go in around the edges of the tip and just file that down so it's a little bit thinner and more flush. This is what my nails look like once I've buffed the shine off the tips. Now I'm ready to go in with a gel color. I'm going to apply 2 coats of this color. It's called Peachin Cream. Then the final step is to apply top coat. And I'm going to cure that under the light for 60 seconds. Okay, so this is one hand done. You can compare it with my other hand, which is still very short and bare. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly finish this hand, and then I'll come right back and show you the end results. So this is what both hands look like. I'm actually really impressed with this DIY extension kit. It's my first time using anything like this. And at first it was a little bit difficult doing, you know, the first few tips and getting that on. But when I moved on to my second hand, it was so much easier. I think I got the hang of it a lot more. And I wasn't as worried about the gel seeping out of the sides because it was actually really easy to remove when I buffed it off. And so that made things a lot easier, and I was also a lot more careful with how I placed the tips and making sure that it was like straighter and aligned with my fingers. In terms of how they actually feel on, they're actually quite thin, but they're really sturdy. I thought that it wouldn't be like strong enough, but after I have all the layers of gel, the top coat, it actually feels a lot harder. But yeah, it's still very thin. It does look really natural. I was kind of worried about the edges not being flush, but I think when I filed and buffed that away, that actually really helped. So they actually feel really good on. They're really sturdy, they look good, they're not super thick, and best of all, it didn't take me that long to do. Usually when I'm doing my nails, it'll take me like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours. This system was a lot quicker. I think my first hand when I was filming, it took me maybe like an hour because I had to just like wait for the removal of one finger. I waited about like 10 minutes. But on my other hand, it was actually really easy and quick. I think I did it all in like 20 minutes. Obviously, if I wasn't filming and trying to get every shot in focus, I think it would be a lot quicker as well. But yeah, overall, I'm actually really happy with this, and I'm so glad to have long nails again because it was feeling a little bit weird with short, stumpy fingers. If you guys are looking for a nail extension kit that you can easily do yourself, I would highly recommend you try this out. They have different shapes as well. I really want to try like the longer coffin shape, but I think it's sold out online. I'm not too sure. But yeah, be sure to check out their website. I do like the little light because it does make holding the tip a lot easier than my full nail lamp. That's like enclosed, so it is a little bit harder. Though when doing the full the color polish, it's so much easier to use the bigger lamp because you can just cure all 5 fingers at once. But for the nail tip, I do find that this is quite handy. Only thing I said before, I wish it had a little countdown, but yeah, overall, I do really like it. I do see myself using this again. I think it is very beginner friendly. Just note that, you know, the first few tips might be a little bit hard to put on just because, you know, it's your first time doing anything, but practice is key. And another really important tip, don't put it under the lamp unless you can see that it's straight, because, you know, I made that mistake. But don't worry because they're actually really easy to soak off. You just pop like a cotton wool and acetone and wrap it in foil, give it about 10 minutes and it actually dissolves the whole tip and everything. So yeah, I definitely really like this kit, especially if you have to do your nails at home because we can't be rushing out to go to our nail salon to get our nails done. Now's a great time to, you know, find some DIY solutions. I think these are much better than, you know, like regular stick-on press-on nails. These actually feel a lot sturdier and it doesn't feel like bulky whatsoever. They feel really strong. I feel like I can actually like open a drink, like a canned drink with this and not be scared that it's gonna break. Anyways, that is it from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Tina Tries It / nail tutorial-ish. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way you don't miss out on any future uploads, and I shall speak to you guys next time. Bye! Do you want to do your nails? Biscuit? Can I do your nails? My fringe is getting so long. I'm tempted to cut it myself.